Well, hello there. When it comes to comics, lots of readers often have very different starting points. Some people might have started with some of the best Batman runs, someone else might have picked up a very good X-Men run, but I have a very strong feeling that a lot, if not most readers, got their head in the game with Spider-Man. And not even the 616 universe, honestly. I personally read my first comic book when I picked up that sweet Ultimate Spider-Man issue 1. Spider-Man was my first love in comics, but over the years we kind of grew apart. At some point, Ultimatum happened that baffled everyone. Then Peter himself died, which was seemingly real and forever, and so I moved on to a larger, scarier, and a lot less explored 616 universe. And here, something was just missing for me. It felt like I always had to catch up on something I forgot to read or simply was not aware of. So I kinda just stopped reading comics altogether at that time. That is, until Superior Spider-Man came along. I heard of all the loud, outrageous titles like Peter Parker's dead, forever this time, now Dr. Octopus will be the new Spider-Man and nothing will change that, and at the time I thought, oh boy, that sounds so bad, so outrageous, I might just dive back into comics after all these years to make fun of it. Maybe catch a few laughs here and there, but oh my god was I wrong. From the starting issue right away, seeing Doc Ock's plan come to fruition and how he swapped minds with Peter was not just heartbreaking, it was honestly horrifying. Just imagine someone steals your body and puts you into a rotting corpse, who has days to live and cannot even talk. And you're also in a freaking maximum security prison, when even if you found a way, no one would listen. I already saw Peter die, but now I'm witnessing it all again, but in somewhat more of a goddamn horror movie style. No one can tell that Peter is gone. Ock just takes his body and moves on. Yet somehow, the man manages to escape the prison by a pure miracle and makes it to his main enemy. And just when you think, oh god, Peter will actually win, he freaking dies. Back when I was a tiny wee lad, this absolutely traumatized me. So much I felt like I could not stop reading anymore. I needed to see where the story goes from here. I needed Peter's close ones, his friends, the Avengers. I needed all of them to figure out what Octopus did and make him pay, that bastard. And yeah, I was essentially reading through pain, but I had no other choice. I needed that revenge. But by the end, what I got was essentially the least expected thing. A complete 180. I fell in love with Superior Spider-Man. The way Doc Ock was being Spider-Man is a bit disgusting to me. At least it was at first. Applying cold calculated logic, not even bothering about petty crimes and only saving those he thought were worthy of his attention. But with time he started getting some sense into me. And to prove that, let me show you one of the first things he does immediately after becoming Spider-Man. That's right, he goes ahead and dumps Mary Jane, telling her that this relationship with her is a trap and it will only bring him down and will never end well. Chad Octopus sets his priorities straight, alright, especially knowing what's going on with modern Mary Jane in comics. He doesn't mess around with Black Cat either, straight up punching her and telling her to stop doing crime immediately. She will not dance around him all cutesy or seduce him in any way. She got the wrong guy. He will not bite it. To add to his genius, Octavius also develops a new solution to an everlasting problem, an army of spider droids that constantly surveil the city and basically keep check on all crime happening in New York. And if he is not there, the system notifies the nearby superhero instead, someone like Daredevil, to help. We then get to see a weaker side of Autos. During his battle with Vulture, he realizes that Vulture has been using little children as his mind-controlled pets, and he only finds out about it after punching one straight up, and then seeing it was just a little kid. He sees himself abused in that child, how his father always beat him and never let him chase his dreams. Otto can be many things, but he would never harm a child, so he decides to stop holding back and makes Vulture pay a bloody price for his choices. This is just the beginning of his realization that many of Peter's enemies simply don't deserve to live. As in the next issue he goes after Massacre, a crazed maniac who likes to murder people in the most vilest fashion imaginable, and whom Spider-Man hid in an insane asylum, but that did not help. Massacre goes on a killing spree, murdering dozens, at which point Octavius simply breaks. How can Peter burden so many deaths yet let all these villains live? He once again uses his combat advantage, gets one of Massacre's rifle and simply shoots the guy. As he is crawling away, bleeding, Octavius screams, "When is it enough? How many more will die before you can finally change and reform? What should I do? Tell me." At which point Massacre breaks down in tears, saying for the first time in his life he's scared. But it's too late as Otto pulls the trigger and puts the villain down for good. This marks the era of a more pragmatic Spider-Man, as we dive into another insane goofball, Screwball. If you've ever played Spider-Man PlayStation games, you know she's one annoying mess, making you do circus tricks to save people and constantly chasing clout at the expense of other people's lives. Despite that, Otto takes it easy on her at first, simply asking him to slow down, telling her it's not a game, they're gambling with people's lives. And of course the two buffoons don't listen and instead spring multiple traps, essentially humiliating Spider-Man in front of millions online. And once again, breaking Octavius' character, he goes full force. He starts beating them to a bloody pulp, asking, "Is this funny now? Are you laughing anymore?" Remarking that this is their last chance, if they want to live to see another day. But I won't lie, after playing PlayStation games, this felt a bit rewarding, in a way. Issues later, Ock goes further and does something Peter would never do. He performs a surgery on a dying child, at the time of need, because there was simply no one else brilliant enough to do it in the room. Octavius improves upon his suit as well and adds some really needed technological advancements, such as an additional protection and multiple arms in the back, something we saw added in the Spider-Man 2 game by Insomniac. He also finally got a degree, multiple from what I remember, and so Spider-Man finally wasn't broke because with those, Ock was able to found his own company, Parker Industries. He forces J. Jonah Jameson, who is New York's mayor at the time, to actually like him, in return getting some strong public liking, and as a reward, he receives an entire island to himself, basically giving to him for his heroic deeds, kinda. He uses that space to form an army, and with this army, he marches on the kingpin of crime and essentially forces his empire out of the city completely, significantly reducing crime rate in all of New York. Say what you want, but after all of this, in my eyes, Doc Ock was actually achieving things and proving he is the superior Spider-Man. For the first time in a long time, reading Spider-Man comics felt fresh, and I genuinely didn't know what was gonna happen next. And yes, at some point Peter's subconsciousness somehow lived on in Ock's mind and found a way to fight back. This culminated in a big final battle of minds where Peter had one last chance to reclaim his body. The way both characters were getting their powers essentially through proving each other who is a better person. And Peter clearly had an easy win at first, saying how Ock ruined not only the lives of thousands but clearly his own as well. How Otto knows nothing about responsibility, no matter how much he pretends, and that he even killed a guy, goddammit. But Otto strikes back hard, saying something we all thought before. Otto is taking responsibility right now, by doing something that is actually important. He is being the superior Spider-Man. He is not letting villains go off easy anymore. He is not letting them come back on an endless cycle that kills dozens and dozens of people. He doesn't care what people think about him as long as they are safe. No, in his view, Peter does not deserve to be Spider-Man. He doesn't have what it takes to meaningfully change the world, because true responsibility is to know what you truly have and use it to get results. And this convinces Peter to give up as he slowly fades away, forgetting his own name and disappearing with his very soul gone. As the months go by, everything is very well after that. Aunt May got a new partner and gets along with her nephew very well. She doesn't have any idea that's not Peter. Octavius then falls in love with his fellow scientist Anna Maria. Ock never really cared that much for that vulgar Mary Jane. It's not the looks he's impressed by, but the intelligence. He sees something in Anna Maria that he saw in himself. He sees a clear physical weakness and pure intelligence. And from that point on, since he's met Anna Maria, he knows he will never stop caring for her. Octavius continues his successful journey as Superior Spider-Man, stopping Spider Slayer for good finally, ending years and years of pain, and overall just being great at what he does. But nothing good can last forever, and along with the end of summer comes fall. Octavius gets a hold of Symbiote, and once he puts the suit on, he realizes he cannot resist him. Having this much power, this much additional force to change the world for the better, Otto becomes even more erratic than usual. He becomes more violent with criminals and more cynical over how no one else seems to be able to get the job done. After almost killing two petty robbers, Ock was confronted by the Avengers, where he stopped holding back completely and let the full force of Venom out, which in turn took the entire team of Avengers to bring him down. Otto realized after that even for him, that was too far. He cannot have the Venom suit anymore. But the cracks have appeared. After that incident, the superhero community no longer trusted him. They knew something was off, but could not understand exactly what it was yet. A month later, a new threat emerges. The biggest one Otto has ever dealt with. Green Goblin. This whole time he's been watching in the shadows at all the seeming success Otto's been having, so he devises an ideal plan. He hacked into Otto's spider bot system that he used to protect the entire city with and made them his own. He then attacked Otto's army and wiped most of them off the map completely. All of that while Otto was distracted. Right after, he easily manages to kill a close friend to Otto, essentially proving that no matter what Octavius wants to do, he is helpless to the strategy of Norman Osborn. He just cannot outplan him. Finally, he kidnapped Otto's true love, Anna Maria, and essentially completely brought Otto down to his knees. Goblin was just too unpredictable, too fast, and despite all of these things, he was too smart for Otto to handle. It all leads to one big culmination where Otto sees a child sitting on the train tracks in front of him. As the train rushes forward, he knows he has a split second to save the child, but then he might not be able to save the love of his life, Anna Maria, who is also kidnapped by the Goblin. And that's when Peter's words echo in Otto's mind, telling him to just jump, which he does. And that's when Otto realizes one simple truth, that a true hero may not be as smart, as perfect, or even as strong as the others. What defines true hero is first and foremost his belief to do the right thing without hesitation. Otto, in his very nature, even though superior in some ways, first and foremost, is very selfish. He may consider letting a child die in front of him if it means saving the person he loves. He may consider making an unimaginable sacrifice just to come out as a winner on top of it all. But ultimately, a true hero's quality is defined by one merit, his selflessness. To be able to put your own needs away in front of dangers, not to think of the best outcome for yourself or by calculating different probabilities of victory, no, to simply do what is right. While Otto operates by logic and can predict his enemies, Green Goblin has absolutely no logic, no morals, no loved one he cares for, and Otto is at a loss against him. He realizes that to stop a true, absolute evil, you need a true hero. So Otto goes back to his lab and begins erasing his mind from existence, bringing Peter's mind back. And one request he asks of Peter before he perishes is to save his love, Anna Maria, as Peter Parker is the only person who can save her, for he is the superior Spider-Man. Well, and the rest is history. Of course, Peter goes in and defeats the Green Goblin as he usually does, despite all odds, saves Anna Maria and a bunch of other people, and continues living his life to the fullest. This story did something for me that I just didn't have before. It gave me something I needed, where I kind of redefined what a hero is in comics, once again. I had so much hate for this run initially, thinking that it's just gonna be a laughter because of how bad it is. But it turned out to be something that redefined my experience altogether, and I really appreciate it. Eventually after this story I moved on to reading more Punisher, Daredevil, X-Men comic books, and in reality I'm still very much into comics nowadays because of this story. Now Marvel has tried to bring Superior Spider-Man back multiple times throughout the years again, but let's be honest, nothing comes close to the original story. Unfortunately, they keep on clinging onto the older stories like, did you know Superior Spider-Man did this during his run, or did that? But in reality, the character is unfortunately dead. They brought back good old evil Fatso, basically the original Dr. Octavius, and threw all of his character progression from Superior Spider-Man run into the window. Despite all of that, he fulfilled his main role. All these years ago he gave me one more reason to read comics, specifically Spider-Man, and I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, I'd really appreciate your like and subscription. If you have a specific topic or a video idea in mind, feel free to leave a comment and maybe I'll consider making it. I already got a few from comment section and I'm working on them right now. Other than that, I really appreciate your support and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.